U.S. Senator Martin Heinrich, along with other local leaders, arrived at the Las Cruces Convention Center on an all-electric bus to promote the future of cleaner energy sources at the Power Up Las Cruces Expo. The expo showcases electric cars, solar panels, and energy-efficient building upgrades to the public.
So much of the impetus to do this happens at the local level, and we're seeing Las Cruces step up in a way that is really at the highest level of national leadership, really going the extra mile to educate their constituents on what's available, how to do it, how to get educated, and then what next steps you need to take.
While many may be excited for the future of electrification, some may be held back by the higher costs of these emerging products. Senator Heinrich says due to recent legislation, this hurdle may have been crossed.
One of the things I worked on extensively last year that was included in the Inflation Reduction Act is a set of rebates that make it possible for someone who is low income or moderate income to buy these new technologies at effectively the same cost that you would use for an older, less efficient technology.
The United States has historically ranked as the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases, churning out an estimated 14% of carbon emissions, according to the Union of Concerned Scientists. However, there has been progress. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, since 2005, the U.S. has cut 20% of its emissions, thanks in part to some of the technology and knowledge being shared at the expo.
It used to be that the single biggest source of CO2 emissions was the power generation sector. That's not true anymore because wind and solar and batteries have gotten so cheap. Now transportation is a bigger sector, and then a huge portion of it is the things that we burn in our homes.
I think you should look at it like cell phones and how you started out with a flip phone and now you're in a smartphone, and this is going to be a transition that everything that you were doing now that wasn't electrical now will be.
The City of Las Cruces Sustainability Officer Lisa LaRoque says that she has been helping update city equipment as well as help local residents switch to cleaner energy without breaking the bank.
We're moving our fleet to 50% EV by 2030. We're adopting community solar and have over 25% of the energy that we generate in the municipality come from renewable energies. We're working on low-income programs where we'll help facilitate that process so that they'll be in the front of the line for all of these rebates that we get.
The City of Las Cruces says that driving makes up 53% of Las Cruces emissions. This means that electric vehicles have become one of the biggest opportunities to lower carbon emissions. With EV sales more than doubling in 2021, James Pleasant II with El Paso Electric says now is the time to ditch gas.
The future is now. We actually have electric vehicles. We have the EVs buyer guide that you can see all the available models for 2023. We have all electric buses here and even all electric trucks like you see behind me.
Pleasant says that electricity averages about 3 times cheaper than gas, making the convenience of charging at home even more enticing. But for longer trips, careful planning is needed to find a charger.
So the typical range for these electric vehicles is going to be over 200 to 300 miles. And keep in mind, the average person travels about 40 miles or less per day. So that's plenty of time to go to your commute and come back. And whenever they do long distance travel, they have what they call DC fast charging stations. Some people call them level 3, but basically these stations can charge the vehicle with anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. And that way they can go ahead on their commute. And they have free apps out there like Plug Share and Plan a Better Route. So that way you can go ahead and figure out which stations are going to be at your destination and how long you need to stay for.
EVs are not the only advancement being showcased at Power Up Las Cruces. Induction stovetops were also on display. After a recent study showed that roughly 12% of U.S. asthma cases stem from gas stoves in the house, NMSU Hotel, Restaurant, and Tourism Management Assistant Professor Darren Bloomquist says that other options could be a better choice.
They're safer because they're minimal burn risk because you don't have an open flame, so they're very safe around for families that have children or families that might have seniors in the household. They are more efficient. The induction cooktops put about 85% of the energy that you are paying for to cook the food into the food, where gas stoves probably 32%. The rest, the other 68% goes up in the atmosphere.
City officials say this is expected to become an annual event, with the next expo in 2024. As electric vehicles and appliances continue to move toward being more cost-effective, they could play a bigger role in all of our lives soon. For KRWG Public Media, I'm Noah Race.